Spartans, do you feel like you're avoiding pressure situations? Spartans, welcome back to another episode of the Spartan Way podcast. I'm your host, Zach Evanesh, part of the Spartan Up podcast family. And in today's episode, I'm bringing you another fire and inspiring little quote from my Instagram. And this comes to you from poet, philosopher, writer, Friedrich Nietzsche. Now, I don't read his work, but sometimes when I come across great stuff, it fires me up. I've got to share it. The most spiritual men, as the strongest, find their happiness where others would find their destruction. In the labyrinth, in hardness against themselves and others, in experiments. Their joy is self-conquest. Difficult tasks are a privilege to them. To play with burdens that crush others, a recreation. If that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what will. And to paraphrase that, I'm going to talk to you about Tim Grover, who's written the book Relentless. I've spoken about that book on previous episodes. He simply says, pressure is a privilege. People that thrive under pressure, the high performers, they love pressure. They seek it out. They seek out the challenging opportunities where other people would see challenging situations as some sort of an obstacle, as a roadblock to them. But when I look back to things that have shaped me the most, it's been the pressure situations. It's been when somebody said, oh, you can't go and train that university. That's 2 hours away. You'll be too tired. But it fired me up. The pressure of having to drive and bring the thunder while coaching others, it inspired me. Or in my early years of training in gyms that did not have air conditioning, some of these gyms, the heat in the summertime would get into the low and mid 90s. And now, 30 years later, I find comfort in those situations and in those things that would normally break other people down. So here's what I want you to start doing, something you got to do today. That little thing that gets you uncomfortable. Maybe you walk outside and it's a little bit too hot and you need to get into the air conditioning, or it's too cold and you need to get into your car and turn the heat. Don't jump right to it. Let that little bit of discomfort marinate a little bit. Get cold at least for a minute. Sweat for a minute. Or maybe you're out there running and you're saying to yourself, I gotta stop, I gotta stop. Don't stop. Get to the next telephone pole. Run another 30 seconds. Find privilege, find pleasure in those pressure situations, those challenging situations. Do it at work. Start teaching your kids. Share it. Pressure is a privilege, Spartans. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you got some fire from this episode. We'd love to hear how you got fired up, what you're going to do about it. Reach out to us. Post a comment here on YouTube or on Twitter. We want to hear how you're putting this information to use. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.